What's up, guys? theBolderBoulder here. And today, I'm going to be giving you guys my opinions over Bionicle 2015 as a whole. So, right here, as a bit of a representative for some of this stuff, I've got right here Onua. And you may notice something a little bit different here that doesn't come with the set. So, I'll get to that later. So I'm going to start off with taking a look at the boxes, and then we'll continue on with other things. So, let's start off with the box real quick. Alright, first things first, let's take a look at the box design. It's basically the same for most of the sets, this is just a representative for Toa sets. Let's go with that. The Masters. So, of course, it's going to have Lego Bionicle. Proudly written there up on the top. Very nice. The Mask of Creation, which I'm so glad we finally got a real Mask of Creation from Bionicle. So, here is Onua himself in a cavern. And there's some of those purple stones that they find down there in the region of Earth. I guess that's what they're going to be calling them now, just the regions of this. And it's really nice, very nice. Then, of course, it shows the skull spider and the golden mask on something I'm going to call a suva. You know, like those old canister sets came with those. I'll get more into detail later. And of course, it's got the ages, piece count, set number, the name, Onua, the Master of Earth, and then on the back, it shows the Toa right there, using their secondary function for their weapon. On top, it shows that it has the turning gear function, and also shows that you can pop off the mask with the eye stalk. And then you can put on the evil skull spider, and the skull spider can take over the Toa. Then it shows the actual size for the mask. And then on this other side, it shows you the picture of the Protector of Stone. Protector of Earth. I just saw the stone shapes on his shoulders, so that's why I said that. The Protector of Earth and the Master of Earth, and you can get a little combination model to power up Onua and make him even stronger. And then, which is pretty nice, it has a little comic on the back. So, very cool overall design, and it is a good idea for Lego to put that little comic there on the back, because it gives the kids, or whoever may be buying the set, something to look at, and that way they can get a little bit more of the story right there, right from the beginning. So when you open up the box, it has this tape right here that I just use a box cutter, or I've seen X-Acto knives used, right there at the top. That works the best. And inside you would normally pour out all the parts, and look at that. Instructions. And they're flat. They're not all bent up and whatnot. Yeah, just felt like I should point that out. Pretty cool. Back there you can put win. And then it shows all 6 of the Toa. All their golden masks and the Mask of Creation right there in the middle. Very cool, very cool. And again, it shows up the power-up mode, and you can go online to lego.com to find out how to build that. And then there's that little poster that we saw back at Comic-Con. And then the pieces that come with the set and whatnot, all the instructions, dual functionality for the weapon. Very cool. Also, what I really like and what really brings back memories is that the last part of the instructions you actually put on the mask like before. Last thing, boom, put on the mask. That is so cool. Definitely something that LEGO did right again on Bionicle. Now I will say, one thing I'm a little disappointed about with these boxes is that it's going to be very hard to put the sets back in there unless you disassemble them. Unlike with the old canister sets, they were all plastic. And you could easily just put the figure right back in there, just fit him right there, even if you have to cram it a little bit or maneuver some of the tools around. Well, yes, they were called tools back then, I believe. So, not weapons like they are now. That was very cool. And then the top was actually used for play as the Suva, which is what it's called. You can display the mask, and you can actually take the heads of all the Toa and fit them around here since there's 6 slots. That is cool, very cool. So now, oh man, it's very nice to have it. This definitely is different from any other LEGO sets, though I will say it's sort of, just because of the angles and whatnot, it sort of reminds me of those Chima Speedor sets. I never got any of them, I just saw them on shelves. It's sort of just those angles you would probably not see very often in toy sets. So now let's move on to the figure itself, Onua, the Master of Earth, and I'll give you a little bit more opinions over all of the Bionicle sets in general. But before we get to that, I wanted to give you guys a little bit closer look at the Suva from the 2001 set, and this little paper cutout that I got online. And I cut it out and glued it together. Very cool display. I just like to call that a Suva as well, because it does the exact same thing that this one does. You can take the old Kanohi Pakari, place that right there, and boom, got the mask on there. This one, you can also do the same thing, except it's a little bit easier to see. And this one was Onua, Master of Earth themed. And this one was just the old one. Very cool. The way I found it was on the TTV podcast. And the TTV podcast website, that is. And on their message boards, there was a guy called Toa of Ultimate Doom. I'm pretty sure that's who did it anyway. I'll put a link in the description below so it's easier for you guys to see. And that way, you can print these off yourselves if you happen to collect any of those sets. So, it's also a very great way to display your golden mask. So I would definitely recommend doing this. Printing them off, cutting them out. It's a little bit tricky, I'll admit, but it's totally worth it in the end because you get to display your golden mask. And then, of course, you just leave your regular mask on the Toa. So now let's actually move on to the set itself. Alright, so here's Onua, along with the golden mask and a skull spider, all in the same set. Good job, LEGO. I like that. It's cool to have that little conflict there in the set, along with what collectors are really, really gonna like, golden mask included. That way you don't have to go out and buy mask packs to try and hopefully find something. No, it comes right there. And, like I said, you can proudly display it on one of these little cases if you so choose. Or if you wanted to, maybe you could use one of those old Suvas and just set it up however you want. I don't know. It's up to you, but still, it's great for collectors. And for someone like myself, I'm very happy with that. Unfortunately, I don't have any of those original golden masks, so... oh well, from the 2001 series. But it's good to have little skull spiders. These make some great little army builder characters. But one thing I am disappointed in them is because they're so darn small. Yeah. They're just puny. Look at that. I mean, just look at that. Onua, skull spider. Yeah. Squash. Pretty sure every kid is gonna be doing that squash. Little skull spider. Oh. It's pretty cool, I will admit, but I am a little disappointed in the villains this time around, to be perfectly honest. Man, I wish there were bigger and more of them, more actual villain sets. But the only real big villain set we get is the Lord of the Skull Spiders, and definitely one of the least favorite sets out of Bionicle, this time around anyway. Very disappointed in the Lord of the Skull Spiders. The function isn't all that great on him, and he just seems a little lacking. I was very disappointed to see that his face was literally just a printed chest piece, and that was it. And some little Exo-Force arms to be his fangs. But that was it. Sorry, but yeah, so because of that, I'm a little reluctant to buy him. I'm more likely to buy all the Toa than even those protectors, too. Because the protectors, personally, I'm not a big fan of them. They have some good parts and all, but I'm just not a big fan of them. And I would also really like to have actually gotten names for them instead of just Protector. That's it, Protector. I mean, man, I would really just like names, to be perfectly honest, yet again. But that's all just my opinions. Feel free to leave yours down below. So, I think one of the only protectors I would buy is probably the Protector of Earth. Well, one, to get some nice pieces, and two, of course, it would go right along with Onua. So, the next set I'm going to be getting is Liwa. So, that'll be coming up whenever it comes up. Next time I can get my hands on another set. But anyway, enough of that stuff. Let's talk closer about the actual Toa themselves. Onua, as you already know, my favorite guy, very cool. Now let's go over just all the Toa in general, because... one more thing I want to say. I'm very glad they brought some new Bionicle pieces. Very good job with the masks in general. Pretty cool that they got that function, though that function is a little irritating at times, I will have to say. Sometimes when I'm trying to pose the head, I actually have to hold the mask towards the head against it so that it won't move, or accidentally hit the eye stalk and just pop right off. I mean, I suppose it's a pretty easy way to take it off, but a little too easy in my opinion. I was a little disappointed to see that. But honestly, it doesn't cause too much of a problem. It's just, it might end up being a little irritating for kids who are playing with it a lot and like to move the head around and just, oops, pop, there goes the mask. But, also, one more thing I would like to say. I'm very glad LEGO used these Invasion from Below feet. Those worked great for this set. And even on those protectors, even though they're not my favorite, I like that they use those little beast feet, because those worked out great. They definitely give me more of an organic look. It gives me more of an... what I'm trying to say is, it gives them more of a biomechanical, organic look, which is very good. Though for the rest of the Toa, they've just got those feet, CCBS feet, that were used on pretty much every single hero using the CCBS system, which I was a little disappointed about, though I'm not going to call them hero feet, I'm just going to say they're called pieces used for hero feet. I guess these ones aren't necessarily beast feet either, they're just different CCBS feet. But either way, great use of those, but I'm a little disappointed in the use of those basic, generic CCBS feet for the Toa. I would really like to have seen new pieces for the feet. These I'm perfectly fine with. Oh man, that's just a little disappointing. And, well, I just wish there wasn't so much silver on some of those sets, or that there was a bit more variety. I mean, the color variety on Onua was a little strange at first. I didn't know why there were so many colors, but the more I look at them, the more I like it. Good use of parts and whatnot. Gear functions. Oh yes, gear functions are back. Yes. I'm so glad about that. Good job, LEGO. You were able to combine classic gear functions with the new CCB system, along with creating dual functionality with the weapons. Another great thing. And they made very good use of these friction adder parts. The only problem with those, though, when they're brand new, you might try to bend the leg and you grab down here and then just pops right off. That's easily fixed. That's not really a flaw, I'd say. Not a big problem. And another cool little feature, which sort of harkens back to old Bionicle, is that the skull spiders can connect to the face. Just pop off that mask, and boom. The evil skull spider will take over the Toa. It says in the instructions that you can just wrap the bottom legs around the head, or actually on the back too. But it's so hard to do that. Just do this. That's all I'd say for any of the Toa. Just do that, or just remove all the legs completely. Though it would be easy to sort of lose these legs if you've got a whole bunch of stuff around you. But, oh, that also reminds me, now that you can pop those off, I really like these pieces. These skull spider legs. I think those will be great for mock making. And I also like the fact that they've got this extra spot up here for a stinger tail. Like a skull scorpion. So, that is nice. I like that they did that with Pohatu. And also Protector of Stone. Golden mask on there, so great. So great. Let's see. Dual functionality, yeah, I've already talked about that. Functions, gear functions, double. Let's see. Well, I think that about covers everything I can think of right now. Though one other thing I'm a little disappointed about is that well, I suppose it's a good thing and a bad thing. Tahu and Kopaka use the same weapon parts, which look a whole lot like Toa Likan's pieces. Totally Khan's swords that he used in his hands. They were a little awkward to pose, but Lego took those parts, redesigned them, and made them better. So they're not nearly as bad as they used to be. I mean, they're really cool and all, but they made them even better. And you could actually put the little flame or ice pieces in the middle and made it into an elemental weapon, which is very cool. And that's what I really liked about those things. It just is a little disappointing that they reused the same parts. But oh well. I assume over time we're going to continue to get more and more unique Bionicle-themed CCBS parts. And if we get the TOA revamped in the future, I would really like to see new weapons for them. Maybe they will go that direction like they did with the Nuva and redesign them. That would be cool. And then, what I'd like to leave you guys off with is the use of the CCBS building system. Very good job with that Lego. I did not see them going back to their old parts, like I've stated before, because those parts were too brittle, especially from 2008 and on. The socket parts, oh man, those broke way too easily. They're too brittle. Man, you had to do bricklink orders just to rebuild some of your sets. It's pretty bad. So, I really like this building system now. It's really, really grown on me. It has some great potential. And I'm so glad for new colorations of parts and just new parts in general. So, I believe that's all I have for now. Let's move this guy aside, bring in the box. And I think that's all I really have for right now. Well, actually, looking at the box, it sort of reminds me of one other thing. Those combo models? Oh, man. Not nearly as cool as the Toa Keita. I mean, I guess the parts do match and all, but I am very disappointed in those combo models. I wish they really were combo models. Well, I guess they don't really call them that now. They just call them power-up mode, but those are disappointing. Most of the other stuff was done right, but I'm just disappointed in that. So, overall, let's see. Well, I do like the shape of the blocks. I like that they come with conflict in the set, that you get the golden mask, that the Toa look very cool, and most of their masks look pretty true to their originals. Also, that they also included some things that are noticeably inspired from the old Bionicle series. But also, they bring it in to a new style, the new CCBS system. Just all new stuff, all new story. The story is a little simplified, but I suppose that would make sense. They don't want to make the same mistake they did before, where their story got so overly complex. By the time the line was cut, even some of the new fans who wanted to buy those sets didn't know the story behind them. And even some of the fans who've been around for, even since, the early days, still can't completely grasp every single aspect of the whole story. I've been a fan of Bionicle since 2002, which is when I got my first Bionicle set, the Toa Nuva, Onuva and Liwa Nuva, and, to be honest, I still don't know every single thing about the story. Now, with this new Bionicle story, with the new new writing team and everything, LEGO is making a smart choice that way. So I'm very excited to see where this story goes, even though it is simplified and most of the characters don't actually have names. I still like to see where it goes. But as time goes by and I most likely get all the TOA, or at least some of them, I'll be able to form more definite opinions about some of these different aspects of 2015 Bionicle. So, now I think that's all. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening to my opinions. Feel free to leave your opinions down in the description below, whether you agree or disagree. I would really appreciate it. So, I will see you guys again in my next video. Have a great day. Bye.